inside the U.S. Department of Homeland Security and indications that the changes are just getting started. Today, and for this moment, it's the Secret Service Director, Randolph Alice, who was shown the door. That's the man on the right here. The move comes less than a day after the president forced Alice's boss and Homeland Security Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen out the door. She on the left here. This afternoon, Kirstjen Nielsen spoke to reporters, high road style, echoing President Trump's claims that there's a humanitarian crisis at America's southern border.
As you know, DHS has a vast array of missions. I want to make sure that we continue to execute them all with excellence through the transition. I share the president's goal of securing the border. President Trump says
Kevin McAleenan will serve as acting Homeland Security Secretary. Right now, he's the Commissioner of Customs and Border Protection. This all comes after President Trump voted, or I should say visited, the border on Friday and said that he wanted to take a tougher approach on immigration. Tougher, apparently, than what we saw with kids in cages. The Chief White House correspondent John Roberts is reporting, and he is live for us from the North Lawn, where he's just ended a phone call. Hello, John. How are things?
I'm doing all right, Shep. Sorry, I was just checking on something new is popping here at the White House, that the White House may not be allowing Major League Baseball to sign baseball players from Cuba. So we're tracking that one down as well. A lot of moving pieces, and sorry for hanging up on you, the person I was talking to, but I had to run to be on the air. A lot of moving parts here. First of all, let's go to the Secretary of Homeland Security being changed out. Ever since she became the Secretary back in December of 2017, it was a little bit of a rocky tenure for Kirstjen Nielsen. The president at times thought she was doing a great job, at times thought that she needed to be doing more. We first got an inkling last week that something was afoot, a number of phone calls asking if she was going to be with the department much longer. She assured me in a personal phone call that she didn't think she was going anywhere, but then by Sunday, the president had made a decision that he was going to make some changes, and not just at the top, but all the way down through DHS as well, which we'll get to in just a second. But when she came out to go to the department today, as you pointed out, very classy way, Kirstjen Nielsen addressing the cameras that have been staked out in front of her house. Listen here.
I really look forward to continuing to support them from the outside. I've spent the last 24 hours since yesterday talking with government officials, with administration officials, members of Congress to ensure a smooth transition.
A very difficult job that she had, because she had to try to enforce border security given the constraints of the law, and there are a lot of loopholes in current law that make it very, very difficult to process migrants through the system in an expeditious sort of fashion. Other changes, as we said, coming through DHS in order for Kevin McAleenan, who will become the acting DHS secretary, to take that position. It's likely under the law necessary for the current acting deputy secretary, Claire Grady, to have to resign. Hogan Gidley was asked about that earlier today. Didn't really have an answer, punted a little bit. Listen to what he said here.
That's something you have to ask Secretary Nielsen, but I can say I do find it somewhat interesting that so much of the focus and the questions I've received this morning have all been about the TikTok, the palace intrigue of this particular move. I wish the focus would be on the actual problem facing this country, the crisis facing the American communities and American neighborhoods along the southern border.
Well, there was a focus on process because you just made a pretty significant change at the top, and then that has a ripple effect all the way through. So we just want to make sure that we get it all straight. There is a statute specific to the Department of Homeland Security that says, unlike at DOJ, where Matt Whitaker was able to become the acting attorney general while Rod Rosenstein stayed in his position, at DHS, the line of succession is different. So it would be necessary for Claire Grady to step down in order for Kevin McAleenan to become the acting secretary of Homeland Security. Democrats were very unkind to Kirstjen Nielsen on her way out the door. They likely aren't going to appreciate her replacement much more, Kevin McAleenan, because he'll be implementing the same policies that she did. Nancy Pelosi seemed to recognize all of that in a statement saying, quote, "It's deeply alarming that the Trump administration official who put children in cages is reportedly resigning because she is not extreme enough for the White House's liking." Kirstjen Nielsen, in her resignation letter, recognized the politics of all of this, saying, quote, "I hope that the next secretary will have the support of Congress and the courts in fixing the laws which have impeded our ability to fully secure America's borders." But, Shep, you can bet that all the way through till November 3rd of next year, this is going to be a fight between this White House and Democrats in Congress.
What else do we know about the Secret Service director's ouster here?
We know that this is part of the overall reconstruction of the Department of Homeland Security. About 10 days ago, I'm told, Randolph goes by the name Tex Alice, was told to prepare an exit plan. A little while ago, we got a statement from Sarah Sanders saying, quote, "United States Secret Service Director Randolph Tex Alice has done a great job at the agency over the last 2 years, and the president is thankful for his over 40 years of service to the country. Mr. Alice will be leaving shortly, and President Trump has selected James Murray, a career member of the U.S. Secret Service, to take over as director beginning in May." I believe we have some video. Yeah, there we go. There's a freeze frame from video. This is a press conference from 2015. James Murray looks pretty much the same as he did. He was the special agent in charge of the Washington field office at that time. He is currently the head of the Office of Protective Operations, which means that he's in charge of all of the protective details, including those who protect the president, the first family, and the vice president. So he'll be taking over in May. And if there's anything else that happens before the end of your show today, Shep, I'll be sure to come back to you.
Well, we'll keep a camera trained on you because it feels like one of those days. John Roberts.
One of those lives,
Yeah.
Shep. Really.
Good luck, pal.
Thanks.
And just when you thought that would be enough, there's breaking news in the college admissions scandal.